Okay, so we did a lot of work on this last week. And then so this was when we're doing authentication, how to test password settings and configurations. All right. And then we did how to test user authorization, how to set up new users, test for new user setup when someone has been onboarded to an organization, how he or she is granted access. Okay, and we did termination. Remember the termination where someone has been sacked, how you ensure that the person is no longer having access to the person is not having access to whatever platform or data that is being shared. And then we spoke about the transfers to, and then I remember there was an example someone shared of a transfer of one person from one region to another. After a while, the person still has access. That is a pure breach. Okay. So we spoke about all of that last. I hope we remember this from last week's session. Okay, so this is where we got to last week. Any questions so far from here? Or something I said last week you need clarity on? Something I said last week that you are not certain you really got, and then we can clarify and move on for today. Today we'll get into physical access control proper, because since now we are getting to understand the logical access control. Today we'll finish the logical and then start with physical access control proper, and then we'll see where our time will let us do for today. Is there any question, any contributions, any initial statements from last week before we move on? There's no question. There's no contributions. Okay. So then let's move on. Are we ready to move on, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, beautiful. So last week, we ended at the second thing we are auditing. That is the access authentication, user access authentication. So the first one was test for password setting configurations in the authentication. Your role as an IT auditor, first you have to do authentication. And what are you doing? You are testing the password settings and configurations as to whether they match exactly what is supposed to be done in the law that has been spelled out in the policy document for the organization. The second thing you have to do is to test the user access, authenticate user access. And we walked through that last week. Did I share the notes with you? Please remind me. Did I share notes with you last week?
No.
Am I?
Any recording?
Am I? Oh, I thought I had done that. Okay.
No.
All right. We'll sort it that one out. Last week, any of my machine, I'll sort it out for you. I thought I had done that. Sorry. Okay. So that should take us to number 3. Okay, network access controls. These ones are very brief stuff we'll talk about quickly, and then we'll get into the physical access control. Okay, so the network access control, what it does is that devices attempting to connect to a network they meet the standards before granting access. So you want your laptop to be connected to the company's network. Okay, what is the requirement for the laptop before it is granted access? What kind of requirements does the laptop or the tablet has to have before it is granted access onto the network? Okay, so then what you are trying to do is to limit, okay, not just limit, but then to control the devices that are logged on onto the network. It looks like a lot of people are having network issues, or it's just from because people keep going on and off the call. Is it a network issue?
Yeah, it looks like the network is a bit an issue today. From
Okay,
my
so
side, I don't know about the others.
Okay, so what do we do? Do we push on?
Yeah, I think so. We should push on.
Okay. All right. So then, what? So what you are trying to do is to ask or make sure that you have put in controls to ensure that whichever device is connected to your network doesn't cause problem. Number one. Number two, there you set security standards for that device. So the kind of passwords that device should have, the kind of security that device should have. And so once you set those controls, you ensure that any device that wants to come onto your system should have a certain level, because then once the device comes onto your system or your network and it is not up to standard, it has the potential of corrupting or compromising the whole network architecture. Are we okay? Okay, so who has not heard of VPN before? I have not heard of VPN before. Who is that? Anybody here like that? And so it means that everybody here has heard of VPN before, right?
Yes.
So what is VPN? Talk to me.
Screen is a virtual private networks. Usually people usually use it to mask their IP addresses or hide their IP addresses and the rest.
Mm-hmm.
That's a basic asking. Like you secure networks to an organization's network from remote locations, ensuring data transmit.
Oh, you are reading my notes for me.
But the basic one I know are the tools that people use, especially these hackers and people who want to hide their IP addresses and don't want to be relocated easily.
Mm-hmm.
And they use the VPNs to mask it or hide your IP address and location, your actual location.
Mm-hmm.
Or we provide alternatives to divert attention or a decoy or something. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the basic understand about the VPN.
That's nice. Okay. So you can set VPNs. Please hold on for me for a second. Okay, so sorry about that. I got distracted with something here. Okay, so then with the VPN, you are ensuring that all connections are secure. Okay, wherever you are joining from, you are secure. And then you also ensure that once you are using a VPN, the data you are transferring across the networks, across whichever systems, it's ensuring your security. It is ensuring that the data in transit is actually, remember what we spoke about, data in transit, right? So once you are saying that whatever data you are transferring is also given enhanced security. All right. Who has not heard of firewalls before? It means that everybody has heard of firewall before. Who can tell me what a firewall is? Jonathan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, please.
Okay, so
I
in your
just
understanding, what is
rejoined
a firewall?
the. Let's please help us.
Okay, Chris, in your understanding, what is a firewall?
Okay, basically what I understand about a firewall is it's a network security device, more like virtual, that protects the devices, connected network to the internet, that protects them from hackers and unauthorized people from accessing data from a particular connected device, connected machine. Yeah, it's more like a virtual wall. Yeah, that prevents an unauthorized entry into a particular secure network.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just about unauthorized entry, but then outgoing traffic too. So for instance, you can set up a firewall that prevents. So for instance, this week, how many of you heard that the Ministry of Education is saying that the students are using the government provided tablets to watch porn? Did you read that?
Yeah. I've seen that.
So what could have been done to prevent that? You just block outgoing traffic to those sites. Full stop. Yes, and so it ensures that all the devices, it monitors and controls the incoming and outgoing traffic. So somebody wants to get connected onto your network, it monitors it, blocks it. So it's just like a wall. That's the name. What a wall does is that, okay, so if you have a wall around your house, and then there's another house that doesn't have a wall, number one, what are the differences? If anybody is passing, he can peep into your house. So now anybody can enter your compound at any time. But then when you have a wall and you have a gate, what the wall does, okay, is to ensure that it limits those who can actually come into the house. Okay. And then it makes sure that whoever is also going out use the right channel. You have the right kind of access to get into the compound. Fundamentally, that is a firewall. I hope we all understand it. Okay, so and then number
Yeah.
6, IDS and IPS, intrusion detection and prevention systems, IDPS. Okay, so they also monitor network and systems activity for malicious activity. So theirs is more like the security man. Okay, so this is the wall. The firewall is there. You have wall your house. Okay, you have put a gate. But then if somebody is trying to climb the wall, who stops the person? Okay, who someone should see that there's somebody trying to climb the wall. Hey, go back. You understand? Or somebody is trying to jump the wall. Let me call the police. That is intrusion detection and prevention systems. And so they monitor the network and system activities. So whatever that is going on, they are just sitting in front of the gate watching. This person should not come. This person doesn't look like he's a good person. Let's monitor the person and see what he's coming to do on this compound. That is the work of intrusion detection and prevention. Any questions so far? And so your job as an auditor is to enter the company or whichever institution you are going to audit and ensure that all of these things are put in place. Okay. And they are configured according to the policy that is derived from the frameworks. Is it clear enough? Okay. So why is logical access control very important? Why should we do logical access control? The first reason is that it enhances data protection. Okay, so then it ensures that sensitive data is only accessible to authorized users. I think we've spoken about access so much so that it is at the top of our minds, true or false. So what happens is that you are protecting the data from people who are not supposed to see it. And then once it happens like that, you're also protecting it from breaches and leaks. And so when you do a proper access or logical access control, you are enhancing data protection. Okay. Number two, you are helping with compliance. So then there is the laws we have been talking about. Okay, the GDPR, the HIPAA, the SOX we just looked at. PCI DSS. This is for banking and those who use the card for payment systems and all of that. What you are doing is that you are helping organizations be compliant to the regulatory requirements and standards. There's a gentleman I met, for instance, at the training who is a CEO of a fintech institution that is leveraging on blockchain technology and cryptocurrency for cross-border financial transactions. And they are having serious issues with compliance. So in one of the days, he came to and I did some consultation for him there and then. All right. Because once you are doing some of these things, Bank of Ghana will be strict on you. Cybersecurity Authority will come at you. Data protection will come at you. And so you have to be compliant to the regulations. And he has done so well, but as it stands now, he doesn't have a policy document. Okay. I'm saying, how can you run such a company and you don't have an IT security privacy document? Also, you understand? And so it helps organizations stay compliant to the rules and the regulations of the game. Okay, and then when you do proper logical access control, what you do is that you are reducing your risk. You are doing proper risk management. And so what that means is that the risk of unauthorized access is reduced. The risk of hacking or data breach is reduced, because then you have put in systems to ensure that people do not actually have access to the information on the systems which they are not supposed to have. And so then you reduce the risk of unauthorized access and potential security breaches. Okay. And so access control, especially in the logical sense, and so the logical access control is something we should not take for granted. Okay. And then it gives you operational integrity. Okay. Once you have access control on whoever is accessing the information, you remember what integrity means, okay, from our CIA triad. Ensures that the data remains unchanged. That is, as it is, the integrity of the data is true. And then availability. It's all once you restrict access, nobody can go in and delete something. So I'm running a parallel course on, I'm not the one teaching it, but my organization is running it. What's the composition of the course? Graphic designing and digital marketing. Graphic designing and digital marketing. And my friend who is lecturing that prepared, like I'll prepare notes for you and drop it on a cloud. He did the same thing, the videos, and one of the students went on to delete some of the videos. And I'm asking him, what kind of permissions did you give? So he was not so sure of the permissions he put on the cloud. But then he has lost all the videos on the cloud. Did you have backup? He said, oh, it was the same videos he uploaded. So once he uploaded it on the cloud, he deleted everything. You are working with me. I've been talking about backup. And now, so and so now I have to go back to the students and find out who actually downloaded the videos. You have the videos. I've got one person who actually fully downloaded all the videos, and so now we are on a data loss recovery. You remember data recovery? And so now availability in the CIA triad has been compromised because security or backup was not done. So it maintains the integrity and availability of the systems and data, ensuring that only authorized changes and transactions occur. We cannot stress this enough. So in conclusion, if you understand what we have spoken about so far, it means that logical access control is saying that you are controlling who gets access to the computer system, how the person controls or interacts with the computer system. So the networks you have put onto the system, the information that is on the system, okay? And it is very necessary for your security framework. You have to ensure that you are doing strong authentication and authorization. You monitor access, and then you enforce the strict control policies. With this, you know that your data is and your systems are secured from any intrusion when it comes to the system side. Any questions so far? Or it is clear like crystal? Any questions? Oh, we are fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go to the second part. This will form the major discussion for today. Okay, if we're able to finish a physical access control today, we can call it a date or a night, and then we'll come back tomorrow to continue. But when we are done with physical access, we still have the mental fortitude to continue. We will. Okay, so physical access, essentially, like we're saying, physical access control manages and restricts, limits access to physical locations, premises, and spaces. So remember that with the logical access, we are restricting access to the computer system. So who can log into the computer system? Who can have information to the computer system? So let's assume you are using a hospital management system. Who can access what information on the system? Okay, who has clearance to get which type of information in the system? That is a logical access control. Please, do we understand that? Is that one clear enough? Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Is it clear? I want to establish that we are on the same page.
For my side, yeah. Don't know
Okay.
about my other colleagues.
Okay. And so much as logical access control is restricting the control you have to interact with the actual software or the computer system. Physical access control is controlling your access to certain physical locations. So if it is an office where money is kept, they have to restrict who goes into that office where money is kept. True or false? That is physical access control. So you get to some places, some institutions, and then they write in front of the door, big, out of bounds, except staff only. What is that? Who can answer that? When you see out of bounds, what comes to your mind?
They are controlling the physical access to the place.
Physical access control. And when we were growing up, okay, anytime we see out of bounds, children, we want to actually go and see why it is out of bounds. If you are like me, because we don't understand why everybody is walking about. And you're saying that's for this room, not everybody can enter there. What is there that not everybody can enter? But then we didn't understand access control. All right. So then you are controlling or restricting or limiting access to physical locations, the premises or the spaces. It may include rooms, offices, facilities, buildings, IT. In fact, so it means that it permits or denies access to tangible assets, so physical assets. Then it tells you, because of your level in the organization, you can't enter this room. You, because of your level, you can enter this room. That is physical access. Okay, so it refers to the ability to enter or interact with physical spaces, resources, or assets within an organization. Okay, so then look at this carefully. Effective physical access control is critical for protecting sensitive areas, equipment, and information from unauthorized access, theft, or damage. A lot of people focus, when we come to security, okay, a lot of people focus on the software side of things, okay, the logical access things. But then physical access in cybersecurity is also very, 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 very important. Okay, so we are going to learn some of the things that are used in access control. All right, and then physical access control to be specific. And then when we are done, we can look at some examples of how these things are done. So for instance, okay, for instance, physical common example of physical access control are keys. Your door, once you have a key that locks your door, and so it means that whoever does not have the key cannot enter your house. In fact, even in your house, you have your bedroom. Maybe you are sharing space. When you are leaving, maybe you have a flatmate or something. When you are leaving, you are careful to lock your bedroom or your space to ensure that people do not enter your room. True or false? That is physical access control. Badges, okay, key cards, you understand? So then you have to swipe your key card, then it gives you access to a certain place, or access will be denied to a certain place. Barricades, all of these are to ensure physical fences, FRID doors. Okay, so those some of those doors that need password or facial recognition or fingerprints or some of these things to open up. Okay, these are all to ensure that you have a strong physical access control. Okay, it includes various methods and technologies to ensure that only authorized individuals can enter certain areas. And so now there are a lot of technologies that are coming up to ensure that access control is actually done. And so this is a whole business industry for people. And so we're going to look at access control holistically. Okay, so look at this carefully. ID badges. Okay, so photo identification badges issued to employees or visitors. And so, for instance, ID card. Okay, some institutions say that if you're a staff, carry your ID card on you wherever you go, right? So that if you are not a holder of a badge or you're a visitor, they give you another type of badge to hang around your neck, right? So that when you see that, it means that, okay, you have access to actually be here. You have permission to be here. Please, you understand that? So,
Yeah.
photo identification badges. You are a worker. Your ID card, your staff ID card is your photo identification badge. By reason of the fact that you have that ID card, you are given permission to enter certain places. But some people are not staff. Maybe they are coming to work maybe on something in their office and go back. They are just third-party contractors that have been contracted to come and work in the organization on a specific contract. Okay, or they are coming to visit somebody. They have a meeting with the CEO, they have a meeting with top level management, but they are not staff. Before they get into the building, they must receive a permit or visitor's pass, okay? And then you hang it around your neck. And so that anybody that sees you says that, oh, okay, I have actually have access to or permission to walk around on this campus. Any questions here? Okay, so let's come back to experiential knowledge. Anybody who works in places where such things are issued, badges and then visitors badge and all of that. Have you had any experience with some of these things? Roberta, can you share an experience with us?
Why did I have a feeling you mentioned my name?
Yeah.
So an experience with visitors getting badges and
The staff
logging.
themselves too.
Oh
Either
yeah,
way,
so
especially. Mhm,
the company I work for, all employees have their ID,
mhm.
and without the ID, you can't get into the premises.
Premises, yeah.
Yeah, like even from the gate, you
Mhm,
you you can't drive through without an ID because everything is automated. So
mhm,
once you badge in your ID, it lifts for you to have access to the car park and then
mhm,
to the offices. So visitors park outside, go into the security reception, and then get their cards before they are able to access the site. And even with that, there are places they can't go. So they have
mhm,
a designated path that leads them to the reception and then the meeting rooms. Yeah.
mhm. Wow. Very, very, very nice. Anybody else with any other experience? We'll come back to Roberta's experience. But anybody else? Should I call or you talk? Okay, so with with for instance, what Roberta is saying, it means that at the end of the day, once you are coming in as a staff, you have to prove that I am a staff, I qualify to have access to this compound or to this facility. Then the gate opens for you. If you don't have access, you have to, she says that you have to park outside and come for a visitor's pass. And even that one, where they'll pass you through, is different from where the staff use. Is that what you said?
Yes, please.
Okay. And so then it means that visitors are given a difference so that if there is any information that is available for staff along where they are walking, visitors who should not have access to those things do not even get to see it in the first place. And that is good access control. All right. Then the next one is key cards. Okay, so key cards. So it looks like Roberta, your ID card is serving both as an ID card and a key card. Is that so?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yes. So for instance, a key card is the one that you swipe and then a door opens. So for instance, you are in a hotel, you live in a hotel, or you have an access, you are lodging in a hotel, they give you that card. Once you swipe the card at your door, the door opens for you. If you don't have that card, the door will not respond to you. And so this is also to ensure access. Okay, so it's an electronic card that swipes or taps to grant access. Who has not seen a key card before? Who has not? I mean, who will be that? If you are here like that, please let us know. Let's arrange a tour for you quickly so that you can have access or you can visualize what it is very
I wouldn't
necessary.
watch it in movies. I've not.
You watch it in movies.
Yes, please.
Okay. So but at least now you understand what it does, right? The biometric system. So it's the same system, but this one takes your fingerprint, your facial recognition, iris scan, or hand. Okay, so there are some of them. They have to the system has to recognize your iris. In some of them, it is face. In some of them, fingerprints. But then it's just saying that your biometrics has been logged into that place, so much so that nobody. So in it also has to deal with the level of sensitivity of the information or the security they are trying to put in place. Okay, if it is a highly sensitive area, a key card may not suffice because then it can be stolen and reused. Okay, but then in certain sensitive areas where you will have to, information is very, very, very confidential. Maybe it is top level managers that have access to that place. Apart from key card and all of that, I'm sure they most often configure it to their fingerprints or their iris or facial recognition, so that in case you even steal the card, when you get to the door and you swipe the card, it will still ask you for your eyes. And I'm not sure you can go and steal iris because it is unique to everybody. Imagine you have to go and cut off somebody's finger because you need a person's fingerprint to open a certain door. You understand? And so that gives us an access or access control, physical access control mechanism to use. Okay, and then we have the PIN code one, where you have your personal PIN code. When then you get there, you type it into the system, and then you are granted access. Okay. Any question on physical access control so far? Is there anybody here who has also used, apart from Roberta, who has used any of these systems, any of them at all? You want to share your experience or how it is done?
The key card and the PIN code.
Okay, please walk us through your
The
experience.
key cards, they are more like electronic cards, like you described it. You swipe over the access, the place you want to be granted access before it will pick. When you swipe and it agrees, there is a green light that shows a beep before the door unlocks for you to get access to the place. Yeah, that's the one for the key card. And you have a general card that's usually with the receptionist, and there's one that is has been uniquely given to particular people's for access to a particular common server that is being shared. So yeah, we have different ones that we use. And with the PIN code, there's a 4-digit code that you key enter into. You enter the key code before the door will unlock for you to get access to the place. So that's what I'm familiar with so far: the key cards and the PIN codes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else to share experience? Okay. See, sometimes I want to bring this in so that we are able to relate to what we are doing here. Okay. So we are fine with this. So then how to audit SOX compliance with regards to physical access control. All right. So it's as simple as the auditing the logical access we did. Okay. So physical security, obtain a list of employees with access to a data center or whichever facility and determine its complete, if it is complete, and review for appropriateness. Okay, so then maybe you are testing access control for a certain location, maybe a data center. Okay, you take the list of employees that have access to that data center and determine if it is complete and appropriate for those people. So then data center maybe for top level management, but then on the list, there is one middle level manager in the list, they have to explain to you why this person is not at the level of management that should have access but has access. And so if they can say that, oh, the person requested for access because he's working here on a particular project, okay, if that is so, what is the first thing you have to request for? Anybody can remember that from last week? Maybe there's somebody who is not supposed to have access but has been granted access. You are auditing that. What is the first document or first thing you will request for?
Change management.
Change management. It's what you have mentioned is in change management, but it's not change management. Anybody? You are looking for the name. I'm looking for the name of the particular document you request for. I showed it to all of us last week. Access request form. Mukai. Do you remember access request form?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And so once you discover that initially somebody is not supposed to have access to a place, okay, or any whether it is logical or physical access control. Originally, the person does not have access, but then subsequently has been granted access. The first document you have to request for is the access request form. How did the person, what process is the person used to get access he or she is not supposed to have? All right. So confirm that the controls are in place to restrict access to only those individuals. And so your job as an auditor is to confirm that the controls are in place. Access control. So then you check what control are they using. Is it a key card? Is it a PIN code? What control are they using? Okay. And then you test privileged user rights. So you determine that the ability to perform sensitive IT functions is limited to only appropriate individuals. Again, access control. So then you audit to find out that the privileged people who have the right to use those places are the only people that are using the place, including users with ability to access sensitive utilities. Okay, so all you are trying to say is that the people who have been given the access to get into those places, what rights do they have? Okay, so then you audit the people who have the access, okay, against the work they actually come and do when they have the access. Okay, so now number one is that you are testing the security itself and making sure that it is only authorized people that get in. Now, when they get in, you have to then audit the work they use their access for. Do you get it? So you have been logged into your office because you have access to your office. By virtue of the fact that you have access to your office, you have certain rights and privileges. And so all of those ones too will be put to the test to ensure that you are not abusing the right. So look at this carefully. Determine if the user's sensitive access is appropriate based on their job description and function. So then you have to say that, okay, nipa way when you access, but is he using his access right or wrong? Based on the job he or she is doing, does she even have to have the access in the first place. And so then you begin to audit or test the rights the users have. Any question, contribution before we move on? Okay. Silence means consent. And then the next thing that helps with physical access control, okay, is the surveillance cameras, the CCTVs. Okay, so when you install a CCTV and in several rooms or critical areas, what you are doing is access control. You are monitoring who comes, who goes, so that if there is an issue, you know who was here physically and what can be done. Okay, so then you regularly review footages. So there's a difference between having the CCTV camera and actually reviewing the footages that are stored in a CCTV camera to ensure that you actually know what is going on. Cameras, make sure cameras cover all necessary angles and are operational. Test the system for unauthorized tampering. And so who came in to do what? The CCTV cameras can expose whoever that did whatever. Any questions so far? Or it is fine? This is not difficult to understand, right? So biometric access. We've spoken about biometric access. So use biometric systems like fingerprints or retina scanners for IT servers and all of that. So how do you test
Hello,
it?
sir.
Yes.
Question.
Yeah, question.
Access control. So especially on the audit aspect,
Okay.
if you request the list,
Mm-hmm.
okay, of those who have access there, and you are given the list, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it like the list, as in those on the face of the whatever you got, that is the people who should have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't you think? I mean, you like you can be if others have had access to the place, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and they took the names of those people out. As an auditor, how are you going to be able to detect?
So
I don't
somebody
know if the
has
question is clear.
somebody has had access to the place, but his name
The
has been
person is
taken.
not authorized, yes, but his name has been taken off the list they gave you.
Now, the first thing is, how did the person get access to the place if the person is not authorized? Because then to have access, let's say you are using a password system, okay? When you are given access, your details and the password is logged into a system or a software that controls the physical access. So if it is a door that takes fingerprints, your fingerprint is first configured into the door with your details. Please, you understand it?
Yes.
Yes. And so for
Yes.
so it means that somebody granted the person access but did not record it. Is that what you're asking?
Somebody granted somebody access who is not authorized to have access to it, but the person is trying to hide the name, like take the name off the list. So, but I think you have addressed the
Okay,
the
so then
question.
when we come to auditing proper, okay, there's one thing we'll do also, or one thing we'll look at. It's called the log analysis. So once you are going to have the list of people who have access, and this is a software, the software will also have the list of everybody that has logged in or had access to that area within that period. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes.
And so
Yes.
the person's name may not be on the list, but the person will pop up during the log analysis. Remember, we talked about leaving audit trails, Mokai audit trails. All the things we've learned from the beginning, they are now going to make sense. So have I answered your question now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I think the log analysis, answers the question.
Sure. So then, how to audit a biometric system is attempts using the unauthorized personnel to verify that the system accurately restricts entry, check for false acceptance and false rejection rate. So then, if just like we were talking about, you are granted access, and so your details are configured into the door. Okay. If you want to test it, use an unauthorized access person or someone who doesn't have authority to access the place, and let the person come and put their fingerprint on it. Okay. And see the reaction of the door, whether the door grants the person access or not. Okay. And then you can also use somebody who has access and let the person also try to log in with his fingerprint or whatever. Sometimes when it's fingerprint, some doors, if your hands are wet or you've been through, you are sweaty, or even, okay, the one I installed for my church, even your heartbeat can let the door reject your login. Okay, because then when your heart is beating inconsistently, blood is flowing through and all of that, it affects a lot of things. And so I tell the people, when you're coming to this door, calm down, make sure your everything is about you is calm, and the door will give you access. And so then if false acceptance is for those who it is not supposed to accept but accepts entry, and then the false rejections are those the door is not supposed to reject but then has rejected you. For those who use some of these systems, your card, your password, fingerprints, has there been any issue you've experienced where maybe you are going to work, it's the normal day for you, you are trying to key in and it is not, the system has rejected you? Have you faced anybody here who has faced any challenge like that before? Okay. Once there's no challenge like that,
Yes, sir. It happens.
have you experienced it before?
Yes, sir. So
Okay, share with us what happened and
every
how it was
floor.
corrected.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So at our end, occasionally, I don't know whether it's a kind of exercise they do, but occasionally, you are denied access, and then you have to go to control. So every floor has a phone there that links close to goes straight to the control room.
Mm-hmm.
So you call, and then your details will be confirmed, and then the card will be reactivated for you.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a beautiful control, so that it doesn't mean that. So periodically they deny people access.
Yes.
Just to test their systems and then to authenticate those who have access and who do not have access. Beautiful.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Okay. So you have to also, we spoke about visitor access controls. We've spoken about them. Implement procedures for visitors to access your IT areas, including escort requirements and temporary badges. So if you have a visitor you don't trust, you can let the person be escorted around. Okay. Maybe give them one protocol officer or one staff member Charlie, make sure you follow this person, escort the person from here to here to here to here, so that whatever is happening, you are able to have someone on the ground monitoring it. Okay, so how do you test for visitor access? Simulate a visitor access scenario to ensure visitors are properly logged in, escorted, and only granted access to authorized. So all of these things, you can simulate them, create the system, and see if your staff or the organization staff will flow with the simulation you are doing. Okay. He's calling me by this time. And then the next thing we can do is the alarm system. Okay, so install an alarm system on the doors and the windows of IT areas. We are talking about IT areas because we are looking at IT security or IT controls. We are dealing with SOX. And remember, we said that SOX is mainly on the financial side, but then we are going to focus on the IT controls. And so generally it applies to every place, but we are focused on the IT areas. That's why I have IT areas here. And then how do you test them? Conduct regular tests to ensure that alarm triggers as expected. And so then you can create a scenario where maybe somebody who is not authorized is getting in, how the alarm system respond and all of that. That is for you as an auditor to do. And then all of these things, you write your report on them. If they pass, fine. If they pass the audit, if they pass an audit, what do you write? If an audit is conducted and it is passed, what term is used? I stressed this last week.
No exceptions were found.
No exceptions found. Or no findings.
Yes.
Yes. So no exceptions found. And so if there are exceptions, you just write exceptions found. You state those exceptions. You put in immediate. We'll come to that, how to do audits and how to write audit reports. Come to all of that later. Yeah. So tailgating test. Tailgating. So what is tailgating? Anybody has any idea about what tailgating could be? Have you heard the term tailgating before?
Following someone through their access.
Yes, following someone through their access. And so there's somebody who doesn't have access, but is shadowing you. Once you access and it opens, then the person also shoom as a crown, and the person enters with you before the door is shut or the access is closed. Okay. So then an unauthorized person's attempts to follow an authorized person into a server room. So that's a scenario we are creating with this picture. So the first person in front has the access. He's holding the key. Can you see that? And then there's this one at the shadow, this one behind. Okay. Waiting for this one's door, the person with the access to open, and then as a Jacob now also is on money chance cry. Once the door opens, he may even enter before you. You understand? So this is one area we have to ensure does not happen. And so then, how do you test it? Conduct a tailgating test to see if security measures such as man strap, or 10 stills. So there are some, I visited GT Bank, one of the Lagos branches, okay, and there's this, it's not an elevator, but it looks like an elevator that grants you access. It's just like a door, but it's only one person that can stand in at a time. I don't know if you have seen those kind of doors before. Just one person can enter at a time, and then it spins you into the hall. When you are coming out it spins you out of the hall, one person at a time. And so you have to put in security measures that it allows one person at a time. Once the person enters, any other thing behind the leg of the person can be crushed. Okay. Access still getting detector is an analytic application that can be installed on a network camera. This application detects if more than one person passes under the camera during the predefined time interval. And so within maybe 0.5 seconds, not more than one person should pass with this access. And so then you install access tailgating detector to ensure that just one person enters. Any question from here? Any question? Because what we are trying to do now is to ensure that nobody without access enters. And so if somebody can hide behind somebody to enter, okay. If somebody has or doesn't have access to enter and the person actually enters, it's a breach. Okay, it is a breach. And especially if they come to realize that the person who has access worked in collaboration with a person who does not have access, it is a more serious breach, and that could be criminal. Any questions so far? Or it's fine?
Yeah, hello, sir. Question.
Yes, sir. Please shoot.
Apart from the what you just shared about the control where a single person just entered is allowed to enter the system. It allows a single person to enter. What other controls can you set for or can you put in place for tailgating?
Oh, there are a lot. So like we're saying, the tailgating detector we are mentioning here. Okay. I think there's a man strap where it's more like a trap door. Okay. You know what a trap door is, right?
No, please.
Oh, you know that local door where there's a spring attached to it and then you can open and close?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, that's the trap door. So then you can, there are technological ones where when just one person enters, it closes, that kind of thing. So there are lots of mechanisms you can put in place to ensure that one person enters at a time. A lot of the physical access control stuff are expensive. And so it depends on, number one, the information security officer or auditor. Number two, the budget of management and what they can afford at this particular time. Do you understand? And so then you tailor some implementations to meet the budget. And so there are a lot of them. Even the fingerprint ones, they are those that have strong lock systems. There are those that do not have lock system at all. Those are also cheap, but then you do not have the benefit of knowing who came in and who did not come in. Have I answered your question, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other contributions? What do you think? What's your thoughts on?
A contribution.
Yes, sir, appreciate.
So I'm thinking that the tailgating,
Mhm.
staff awareness could also be a very good step, where staff you know are advised to be
Go ahead. Go
apologies,
ahead.
sir.
Oh,
Apologies.
don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
So staff are made to always make sure there are not people tailgating
Following
them,
them.
following them. Yeah. So I think that could also be a good help. And then my end, for instance, should you succeed even entering with especially when you have a badge, okay, you have an access card. If you enter, you may not be able to come out because you can't badge outside. Like you can't badge yourself out. So that also helps.
That also helps. Okay, because most of the times, then we are looking at just the entry, but then we don't authenticate the exit as well. A lot of the physical access controls I've seen, most of them deals mostly with the entries, but then to also authenticate the exit is very, very, very solid. That's good. Thank you for that experience share. Anybody else has anything in mind you want to share about physical access control? Okay. So this is a server, an example of a server room. These are places we will not want anybody to just come in. And so these are some of the places we are protecting people from entering. Okay. We are done with access control, both the physical and the logical. Any question? Any contribution before? Because we're going to start change management from tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to do change management. Okay, and then IT operations tomorrow. Yeah. We will do IT operations. Yes, I'm sure we can finish IT operations tomorrow. And then maybe next week, Saturday, we look at the audit procedure. Any question? Oh, we are fine. So do we do the introduction to the change management now, or we do tomorrow? Let me take your mind on that.
Okay, let's do it tomorrow.
Let's do tomorrow. Okay. Anybody has any contrary opinion? Okay, so one of the things I've learned, or I'm still learning, is that this is an adult class. And so it's not a normal school where you're teaching children. I want to have your opinions on some of these things as it will pertains to your situations. All right. If I'm moving too fast, please let me know. All right, let me pause there. Let me stop there.